This is Kevin.
This is Meg.
And this is Past the Aisle.
Past the aisle.
And today...
Fucking tired.
Yeah. It looks like you're tired.
I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. And it's early. Well...
Was something bothering you from sleeping?
I don't know.
Other
I
than
woke
me
up
snoring, or...
Yeah. Well, you weren't even snoring. You were just breathing hard, and it was enough to keep me up. And I said, God damn
She's
it.
a light sleeper.
And I was like really frustrated because I tried to like get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like trying to make you stop snoring first. First you were snoring, and then I was like, I think I said something. You know how you're like half awake and you say something, or you want to like say something. Well, I'm often half awake and I'm like, no, or something like that.
Okay. This time I didn't hear you.
Well, you stopped.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, cool. And then I would try to go back to sleep. It's only like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then you just started to breathe really hard. And then I was like, oh, dang it. And then somebody's calling. Jenna's calling me. And then I was like, whatever. I'm just going to get up and try to... Usually when that happens, I'll just put on a Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
And then fall asleep to his voice. But it was so interesting. It's like listening. I was like, God damn it, this is interesting. So I probably didn't sleep till like 4.
Yeah.
It was a really good podcast talking about a lot of stuff. And then when I wake up, I don't remember a damn thing, and I listen to it again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I didn't sleep very well. But I got up early because like I could have slept in, but I wanted to finish all my work. So I blogged already for today, and we also did something different where, you know, you finally took the initiative to film a little behind the scenes of the session to give the session a little bit more
overview.
Depth.
Yeah.
And I was like asking you to do that for so long. So finally, like, you're taking it into your own, like you're owning it more.
Own pace. I think it's just my pace.
Right. Yeah. So it's all stuff that, you know, it's like many things like in business, you know, it's going to be good and you know you should do it and all this stuff. But it's like, dude, can I just do one thing at a time? So, which I get that. I get that with you. But I'm just glad that we're doing it, you know.
Yeah.
And we're getting validation from clients that are saying stuff like, well, I like that you guys are more than just pretty pictures. You know, I got that validation yesterday, and I was like, yes, cool. Like I already knew that. But when you get validation, it's really nice, and especially from your clients, you know, it's like, yes, that's the green light. That's the ultimate green light to keep doing what we're doing. And to keep
you
innovating.
said it before, just be yourself and just show your true self.
Right.
And I mean, this is cool that even though you're in the wedding industry, people get that you're human, and it's not always happy.
Well, yeah, speaking of, well, like this morning, I'm like, I'm not happy. I mean, I don't feel peppy.
Yeah.
But this is part of the grind. And even doing the show, and I was contemplating like 2 minutes right before the show, like, should I come on and do the show if I'm not my ultimate happy best self? And I'm
but
like,
this show is not. The show is just for us. It wasn't for anyone.
Exactly. So I don't ever.
Matter.
I think it's easy to get muddled sometimes with the goal of what you're doing and putting out content.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, but they like this, or they like when I do this, right? And so you can kind of fool yourself and trick yourself, and sometimes lose your identity because you want to appease your client or appease the number or whatever.
Yeah. That's really true with any social platform you want.
Well, even your own work, like your own portfolio.
Yeah.
You know.
But it in some ways it when it comes to like what we put out, and it does control me in a way. Like,
how so?
It doesn't. No one's jiving with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Even though you liked it.
Even though I like it, yeah.
Or sometimes I remember this, like you were like, oh, you know, the industry likes this.
Yeah.
Right? Or right now it's trending on this.
Yeah.
Like say brown filters or, you know, whatever's trending on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you would be like, that's cool, but it doesn't last.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we say to clients too. Like when we meet them, it's like, yeah, all those filters and shit are cool, but like, is it gonna last when you're 50? Is it still gonna look good?
Yeah.
And being able to stick to your guns and be like, no, this is
I want to say
this is good.
certain aspects within trends last.
Yeah.
But the majority of the entire picture does not last. I mean, this that's hard to describe. If I was to dissect today's style, it's definitely more raw. Like they're more being true as people, like in emotions? Their poses. Yeah, emotional. It's definitely taking another step into natural photography, which I always liked. Yeah. And it's always a challenge being a photographer, is how you can capture or direct art couples to look like they are just being normal in front of you. Right. Yeah, and back then they thought it was natural. I thought I was shooting natural, but there is another stepping stone.
There's definitely another level that
there's another level. Yeah. And that is more timeless. Definitely more timeless. Like that's going to stick. Right. The filter is just the style of our time. Yeah. And that's going to last only for 3 years. Being in the industry for so long, we saw these transitions, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, we saw a lot. Yeah.
Remember when we first started, we applied, there was no such thing as presets. There was no such thing. There was just filters, right? Yeah. It was layers.
They and Photoshop actions.
Yeah, they called it layering. Yeah. And then it was just an antique scratch photo, and I applied that layer on top of the photo. Right. Decrease opacity, and that was that was the style.
And we would also decrease flow and opacity on the eraser so that it's just enough scratchy stuff. Yeah. Or I remember the actions so well because they had funny names like cut like a ninja. Yeah. Or make it pop, or aren't you glad I'm here, or some shit like that. I was like, what the hell? And so they had these like little punny pun titles, and I remember that's how I first got into like getting savvy with the computer. Yeah.
Like getting savvy with Photoshop.
When I met you, or like, cause I do all the website stuff now, cause you showed me how to do WordPress, and back then it was hard. Like
back then was hard.
Coding and all that stuff.
I remember Lawrence Chan, who mentored me, and his brother Douglas. Yeah. Or Doug. It was hard. I would always run into issues, or accidentally with Mac, it's a one-piece mouse and you accidentally swipe back during a plugin that was installing, and you were locked out of your own site. And we had to go through ftp.ourwebsite.com.
I don't remember how to do all that shit anymore.
And all that SSL, right? Yeah. To go into the My SSL. I was like, holy crap, that was a lot of stuff. Yeah. And we used to upload photos that way.
Via FTP,
in order for it to show up into WordPress.
Right.
That we were in WordPress early stages of like WordPress 2.0.
When it was launching.
Yeah, when it was launching.
And people were like, what's the difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org? It was like, we were so confusing, and nobody could tell you because it's an open source. Yeah. So you're like, there's no tutorial, there's nothing. But you're so passionate. You know?
You're so passionate. You want to figure it out.
You want to put your shit out there, so you figure it out.
Website was still new back then. Yeah. Having your own website was still new.
I remember you had to have two. You had to have a blog and you had to have a website. Yeah. And it's like, oh, yeah, go to my website. But if you want to see my recent shit, go to my blog. And I'm like, this is so redundant.
But this is crazy. It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
That 10 years of technology. Yeah. From 2000, I would just say 2008-7 was the earliest, but then we didn't start until 2008. Yeah. And that was like, it was a baby back then, and then it's crazy to grow with technology. Yeah, yeah. Because we started when they started. Right. Yeah.
Well, in a lot of ways, like us we're in our early 30s. And so we're seeing, like, we've come from the time of VCRs, VCRs and CDs and cassette tapes and rewinding things and going to the video store and all that stuff. So we come from that. But then, like, in such a short amount of time now, it's like this. Yeah. Whereas, like, WordPress is still annoyingly, like, kind of old school.
Yeah.
But because it's so deep rooted in Google and it has that foundation, it's like it's still very powerful. So we're on both platforms as for kevinlevu.com, which hosts our lead photographer, which is all like the new shit. It's Squarespace, and it's so freaking slick. It's slick in terms of like just creating something very quickly. Nothing's like, don't have to code shit. And I'm like, man, so I've got literally two hands in both worlds, the WordPress world and
I'm thinking now. I think if we were to do this, I mean, we're going to be in wedding photography for a long time,
or in the industry at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might as well at least start some of the transition now. Yeah. So by the time it's 5 years down the line, that website will act like our WordPress.
It's possible. It's just tedious, and we're talking about moving over to something like Squarespace or something like that, because it's I mean, for the amount you pay, it may seem expensive on the outside, but then if you're in the weeds like I am, and I get to see how easy it is to post something or how easy it is to SEO nowadays, because you don't need all that stuff anymore so much, I'd say.
Yeah.
And more people are going to places like Instagram. Like Instagram has been a powerful marketing tool for us specifically because it's photos, right? And
that's all we've been getting more inquiries.
Right.
Saying Instagram.
Yeah, they're saying Instagram, yeah. And my last meeting, I've been doing a lot of FaceTime meetings, and they're like, whatever I see on Instagram, man. I was like, oh, because I'll ask them in our forum, like, how did you hear about us again? Yeah. And they're like, what did you like about us? I asked that. They're like, oh, you guys master like this one I'm meeting today after our show today. Yeah. Like, seems like you guys master the photojournalistic way. And then she also said, when 50 years later, like taking the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. And how like our photography theory has taken us for 10 years, you know. And I was like, cool, she gets it, man. So when I go into this meeting today, like I feel like it's going to be a strong one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the goal, is to like, how do we make it more natural? And with clients coming in through Instagram, even you saying like Instagram will fail at some point.
Well, Instagram already failed. It just failed last week.
What do you mean
but
failed?
Then even before that, Gary Vee already said that Instagram was going to go down.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
then it went down, and people didn't know what the hell to do for 12 hours. I remember everyone was like, oh, shit, it's Instagram.
Yeah, people were legit freaked out. All these, articles.
There's a whole section dedicated to Instagram failure, or Instagram shutdown. There is a site like that, and then I was like, oh, Instagram is currently doing this, or Instagram is currently doing that, and then there's a huge page of people commenting, when is Instagram coming out? I can't load my feed. They go crazy.
Yeah,
or you're like, I'm losing business because of you guys. Like, they will rant. I
see.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing. It's like something that I've been learning about since I got into the online space and podcasting and like putting out content. The number one thing that was argued was social media versus email, building your email list, right? Which we have a very substantial email list, which is great. The problem is like once you serve a client, they're potentially like how do you say like you can't really, you already got married.
Yeah, it's like their budget is out the door already.
Right.
They tapped out.
They tapped out already. So the most that you can accrue from this email list is family shoots and maternity, which is not something that we specialize in.
It's definitely not our strong point.
Yeah.
But I mean, slowly I'm learning that there's people in our team.
Jenna handles all of them now.
And then you said Michelle doesn't mind doing those, or
she doesn't. Well, I don't know. She's in and out.
But Georgia likes it.
Georgia likes it. Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Emily may like it.
The
but
thing
I
is,
can't speak for them. But
yeah. The thing is the price point. You know, it's not as sustainable as our wedding packages, obviously. So
but it does take time, and I feel like people out there have to realize that you want your family photos taken, right? And knowing that this is not, even though you're a returning client, it's still a business for us.
Yes.
And for us to have our employee and send them out, it's still business expense in that way, where they have to travel out, schedule around that specific time to shoot your family session.
Right.
So when people like request, oh, is it $150 or $200?
Oh, they're surprised, you're saying, with the cost.
I'm like, dude, it can't be.
Yeah.
Think about it. We're in like SoCal. Anywhere you go is going to be like 2 hours stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
And the gas of going out to these specific locations, it's like $50 waste, but then not counting on like your time.
Right.
So the time to get there, time to get back, time to shoot the session, everything is like 4 hours.
Right.
So if you're thinking about creativity and being an artist, it's like $50 per hour. And then you're asking for 150.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, and along with taxes, and along with your electricity to power up your computer, your equipment,
your experience,
the experience. See, it doesn't add up. So
somebody's mad.
It does not add up.
No, I mean, it's fine.
On average, it should be about $400 an hour.
Yeah.
That is worth it for 1 hour to get out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks like we have to raise our prices. Well, I mean, it's just a matter of, like, you explained it, right? Yeah. And a matter of explaining it in such a way where, clients can sympathize and understand where we're coming from, that we're not just a robot.
Yeah.
And things are,
If you want to preserve an artist's craft, we don't bank on quantity.
Yeah.
It's quality. So that's why we charge high.
Right.
Is because we're preserving our art.
Yes.
We're not giving all of it away just for, because we're losing time in our life.
Right. Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to preserve,
because I do
artist.
Get there's photographers out there.
Yeah.
They don't mind. Time is not an essence for them.
But they don't understand, usually because they're naive and they haven't been in the game and they haven't hustled and they haven't worked long enough to understand the value of their own craft. They haven't valued themselves yet. That's a big, big reason why they undercut not only themselves, but they undercut the industry and people like us. And they go, well, so-and-so charged $150. Why you charge me $350 for 1 hour? And I was like, you just explained it. Why? It's not just 1 hour.
Yeah.
And for us to be savvy business people and educate our clientele and say, this is why it is the way it is. And if you want to preserve this type of quality, people are saying like, hey, you guys have mastered the photojournalistic, blah, blah, blah. They say these really nice things, right? It's like, well, it took time.
Yeah.
And we respect our craft and we respect ourselves.
Yeah.
And so if we can get people to, and I like the way you said that, if you want to preserve this type of art, like if you value this, then respect it and pay that price. Because
artists we do get burnt out.
Right.
Yeah, you do get burnt out. And a true artist does not care about how much they charge, but they have to live.
Right.
Yeah.
They care.
They care in a way, but then at the same time, they're not attached to money. They're just loving the craft of it and producing it.
I mean, you care about how much you charge, for sure.
Yeah, of course, because we have to, sustain a lifestyle for us.
Right, but it's not like my art equals this. It's my art is my vehicle because I have this, and to pay.
Yeah.
So I think some people, well, we can't speak for anybody else except for ourselves.
Yeah.
But I like the way that you've kept that in our company too, where it's like, it's been very clear that it's not really how much you like charge with the art. It's not in line with that as well. Yeah. Like also people say that you're not salesy, which is great. Like it's been a great thing for me to follow too, is how to communicate with the client. Like it's not about sales, even though it is, but that's not the feeling that we want to emanate, because the first priority is you as a couple, and then are we able to capture it in a way that reflects you. And I love this question. We get it all the time is what's your style? And I used to be like, oh, can't you just see it, right? Yeah. But now I love getting that question because it's like, well, we allow you to be you. And then whatever comes from you guys, we just try to capture it in the most true way possible.
It's funny sometimes. It's like we're interviewing each other during a meeting. Yeah, we are.
Right.
When we meet with new couples. But the moment they see me excited when we're speaking about a certain location, they're like, oh, shoot, I saw you spark up on certain areas versus other areas.
Yeah.
So like Laguna Beach, you won't see me spark up.
I think they like that too, of that, this dude is getting excited and is passionate. It's like if I were to go get some whiskey or coffee.
Yeah.
And then you talk to the person in there and they're like this, like their energy's on fire about it, and you're like, what the fuck? And you're just absorbing it all, and they hype you up because you didn't know, right? Like, so they bring up the energy of the room.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what people want as well. They want that experience of like, yes, take me, Jesus, like take me on this ride because I've never had my photo taken this way. Or like you were talking about, like today's post, check it out on kevinleeweddings.com today for Kathy and Peter. You said, oh, I love adventurous couples.
Yeah.
Right. And you'll say that when you're
I think it matches my personality.
Yeah, you're putting together the images, and you get hyped still after 10 years because, and I think clients like to see that too. Like they're a part of that excitement, or you're a part of that creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, because I never shot there before. Even though, we've been in 10 years, I'm like, I've never been up to that shit. Yeah. Like, what the heck?
So isn't it nice? Like you were like, dude, I milked SoCal, but now you're finding new places.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I milked it all. I mean, we went down Old Town Tustin yesterday, and I remember I did photograph an engagement there, but I was still figuring myself out during that time, and I didn't see things I would see now.
Right.
And
Isn't that
cool? I think a long time ago, I would say not too long ago, but like 4 years ago, it was all about beautiful locations. Mm-hmm. It's all about, what's picturesque. It's still like that today, but then I feel today it's about the couple. It's always been about the couple.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take a lot to bring out a photo.
Yeah, like you don't need to. This was my thinking for a long time.
Yeah, you always had it in mind.
And because I'm not a photographer though, and maybe I didn't say it the right way or whatever, but I'm looking for something like more intimate, even more sensual.
Yeah.
Which I think is maybe difficult for men to do. Maybe to direct a sensual moment, or for another man like the groom to get sensual. Like he has to be also in that mindset, like, oh, I'm about to be sensual or looking sensual with my wife in front of the camera, in front of another man. So I think it's definitely like a more intimate level and layer, but I see more and more couples kind of like into that, which is really cool. It's definitely better than, not better, I'd say it's just another step up of intimacy than the posed, foot up, smack dab in the middle, pretty flat. Like, I don't know, I've just seen that so many times.
I think that's done.
There's nothing wrong with that, but
we still call it the establishment shot, but then
or the money shot.
You don't feel it anymore.
I don't feel it.
Yeah, you just don't feel it.
I was never really into it.
Night shots for me, I would say, I mean, I can do it if you want it.
Yeah.
But
I see those fading.
It's fading. I mean, I don't see, unless you're like having fun in that night shot.
Yeah.
Which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
Because the moment you move, the lighting is off. I have to adjust. I have to run to my flash and like redo everything.
Oh, black and white, put on a flash, bounce it. Get that candid moment, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you shot film black and white and it was almost pitch dark.
Yeah.
In the TP session that
I remember,
we did with Jenna.
Yeah.
It looks so good. This blur.
I was holding it still, and the settings are right on there. It was like at 1/6 of a second. It was slow.
But it was still like you still see the face, you still see the emotion, you still see the moment, right? Which is great, and I love that. Like, I've never really been a proponent of like so many pixels in a camera, because it's like, well, especially in a wedding, it's like, what are you trying to do? You're not printing a billboard, you're not printing something on top of a building or something. It's like you're printing moments.
I think the reason why they pixel packed a lot of cameras nowadays is because people don't know how to take a good picture, so they have to crop. Yeah. So, when you crop, like you use res, right? You lose resolution.
Yeah, finding the shot within the shot that you took, like, come on. I think it's lazy.
That's why they do it.
I know.
Yeah, it's not about, it's about blowing up after you cropped as well. So that's why they pixel pack it.
Pixel pack, that's the term.
But other than that, all I care for is I'm happy with my camera. But, a lot of the camera industry, what happens behind scene is they just follow trends as well.
Yeah.
So Canon and Nikon.
It's their business.
Yeah. They hopped on board on just going forward with mirrorless cameras. And once they do that, they're not going to maintain our mirror cameras, our DSLRs. There will be a time probably in the next 4 years that they will say, we're discontinuing on maintenance on these type of equipments, and that's when we have to jump the gun into something else.
I think we'll be out of the wedding industry, or you will be out of the wedding industry by then. We'll probably be doing something next level, next step in whatever we decide to do, just because like I'm sure we'll always be involved in wedding photography in some capacity. I would see us passing down the mantle to whoever is worthy of that.
Yeah.
And running it, we could still run it for sure.
Yeah.
But I think for you, like in my prediction, I just don't think you'll be doing that. I think you might play with it.
Yeah.
But by then you're gonna be in your 40s, maybe you're probably gonna be in your 50s, maybe by then. It's like we'll be into other things.
Yeah.
So
we're already into other things.
We're already starting. We're already starting it, right? So we're thinking about that time when you're not going to be shooting.
Yeah. We had an early start in business.
We did. Yeah.
We're like those guys that opened up a boba shop when they were young.
Right.
So we opened up a photography business when we were young.
Yes.
And I'm thankful that we have that 10 years.
Oh hell yeah.
Up to our 30, and we're still like people will start their business in their 30s.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so I'm glad that we got that.
Yeah,
and now we're putting our foot into all different types of platform.
Right.
And I always been the type of person growing up to take it another level.
Yeah,
as in like. If I was in high school, I was thinking about college already.
Right. Yeah.
I first.
Yeah, you're always thinking about the future.
Yeah, I was always future oriented.
Yeah.
And I went to college at FJC when I was in sophomore year. Mm-hmm. Like I just wanted to get ahead of the game and finish and get out. Mm-hmm. Like I hated school. Yeah. But I also wanted a successful future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried that and I don't know if I passed that course. You know how you could take, your sophomore year, you can go take a college course and see if you can get credits and shit.
Yeah.
But like, it was so, what had happened was even though I did pass it, like even though, it didn't transfer or some weird, something happened and I was like, this is useless. So I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But, you're always thinking about the future, which is great. I think that's why we're a good team too, because I'm more present.
You're more present
thinking.
Yeah.
And so you're always kind of taking care of our future, which is good. Yeah.
So speaking about that, what I did this past week was wanting to learn more about stocks again. I'm still on that adventure. I think stock is very future oriented.
Right.
Yeah. It's still past oriented and future. I think it's all the things, past, present, and future, because you have to know what happened, what's the company's past like.
Yeah.
You have to know what the company's like future predictions,
the trend,
and what's the present, like what's happening right now with the company.
Yeah,
so it's pretty
stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I did sign up to the workshop. It's not really a workshop, but it's like a guidance. Yeah. It's called Motley Fool. and they're also on YouTube, and they also have a podcast, and you can listen about what the current stocks to buy or to sell.
You're listening to a podcast now?
Not yet. Just YouTube.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, YouTube.
I see.
I don't have time. I don't know. Having someone just keep on talking in my ears.
Yeah.
It throws me off. I can't listen to a podcast and edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not soothing.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends what they're talking about.
Yeah. It depends. I mean, if it's related to the stocks I own.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
maybe,
I'll probably.
Yeah.
But currently, it's been like other stocks that we can't afford. I mean, we can afford it, but we'll go broke.
Yeah. Yeah. Apple and Amazon.
I mean, it's not Apple, it's Amazon.
And Netflix.
Yeah, but I would say Amazon.
Yeah.
It's 1,800 a share.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as much as Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like I remember when that Bitcoin high in end of 2017.
Yeah.
People were dropping 16 grand.
I know.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, that guy just dropped 16 grand.
Well, those are the whales, right? They come in and just bust up, and it's all anomaly. Those are the exception to the rule, and then people get hyped on it, and I think that's why, it went through that little crash or whatever because of these whales come in, and then everybody who doesn't understand it, they just start pulling out and putting in, and then it makes the market unstable, and then the value of Bitcoin is like all over the fucking place, and then it drops.
Yeah.
And then everybody loses their money.
and then
it's going back up. It's like, what the hell?
You lose your money only if you pull out.
Only if you pull out, yeah.
But
people freak out.
People freak out and pull out, and that's when you lose. You just need to hold through that freaking wave. I learned a lot within this so-called game, and actually makes me more aware of why our home is being built at a certain pace, or our neighborhood is growing, or the infrastructure of like our roads. It's pretty political. Like, it keeps you more educated about America.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's cool.
That's good, because every ride I always hear like, why don't they do this? I wish they would do that. So now you're going to get all the answers to your questions. Yeah. And it's like, it always comes down to money. It seems like, why aren't they doing this logical thing?
Yeah.
Why aren't they doing that? Why, it's like, dude, it's all money.
It's all money.
It's all money.
Yeah.
And so if you can just understand that, and then I think remove the emotionality from it. They're like, oh my God, why aren't you doing this? You guys are so stupid.
Yeah.
Which it drives you crazy. Like, you were going crazy. So I like that you're being able to, like, educate yourself, so you can be like, oh, okay, it's just like, this is how it is. Yeah. And I can either wait for the dip or wait for whatever. And that's why roads aren't being built, or this is why we have traffic and shit like that.
Yeah. I'm like consuming 3 sources right now from the book, the Stock Investing 101, right? Mm-hmm. So that's like the very basic, like learning about the terms, learning about, the history of it, and then reading about what's current, and then reading a bunch of other articles and comparing with, all the sources and seeing which one is very valid or it's just trying to hype you up to go buy it or something.
Right. Well, I like it. You've made a change in terms of how you're interested in something. Before, you would just kind of like ask me questions, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. And especially stocks, I'm not interested. And like, go find your own thing. But
I brought it up a long time ago as well.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, finally, you're taking it into your own hands. Like, you're reading. I'm
like, fuck, I'm just gonna do it, man. Like, at first, Shelly's brother. Like,
you want to learn? Go learn.
Yeah, Shelly's brother would be like, you need 100,000, and I'm like,
is that true?
That's not true. You don't need 100,000. I mean, if you want, to flip 100,000 into a mill, is that what his thinking was? But I don't care of starting from ground zero.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think you have to. I think that's really important, because my friend just asked me, what kind of camera should I get? I was like, oh boy. Okay.
Who's that?
My friend Justin. He used to work in India. Yeah. So he already has this, he told me, is a Nikon 7100 crop sensor, whatever. And I was like...
We all always start off with Nikon.
We didn't have Nikon V.
I started off with Olympus. It was a kit lens, and then
a DSLR or SLR.
It was a DSLR.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved into a Nikon D600 or something. No, D600.
Right.
And then Doug handed me a Canon during a wedding and say, "Learn it on this day."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Holy shit!" And then once I started to get used to it, it was fast. It was like using a Mac.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, this is a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nikon was all backwards for some reason.
Right. Well, getting back to my story. So, he was like, "Okay, what kind of camera should I get in relation to you getting into stocks?" Right. Mm-hmm. It's such a broad question.
Yeah.
And you think that asking somebody who's semi like me, I'm like semi.
Yeah.
Pro, right? And so I'm like, "Okay, what's your budget?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, what do you have right now?" Was it Nikon 7100, whatever? Okay, yeah. What kind of lens do you have? Okay, so I think you should just start here. Yeah. But then the mind is like, "But there's all this," and then you ask me, "What should I get?" I'm like, "Okay." In my mind, I'm like, please do not be fucking lazy. All right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's why we get frustrated with you before. I think it's lazy if you're very interested, but you don't want to take the time to learn.
Yeah.
And that would frustrate the hell out of me. So I just, because I want to be polite. You just, okay, you could do this, you could do that. Mm-hmm. You already have a good camera. That's a good camera.
Yeah.
To learn on. If you haven't mastered how to take a good portrait, I would say go get an 85, go get a 50. You're on Nikon, okay, go get an 85. So, master that first. But then the mind of a novice is like, ooh, shiny, mirrorless.
Yeah.
You think I should go get it? I was like, you have a good camera, dude. There's nothing wrong with you. You get too distracted with the fancy shit. When it's like, do you understand the basics? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have many friends that went through that ride.
Yeah. Well, we all do it in some capacity.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about coffee roasting. I'm like, ooh, there's a $650 roaster.
Yeah, I'm not looking at about the value, the cost of it. I'm looking at
what you can
maintenance. Yeah, what you can do, the maintenance of it.
Again, I'm thinking about the shiny thing that's not present, right? I said to myself, because I'm trying to control myself too with this whole coffee roasting thing. I said, dude, do we have the budget for it? Okay, let's take from our gift giving budget.
But it's also, the other thing is, now that we learn over and over about this, is that you have to kind of look through the convenience of it, because you would always complain, oh, this is so much cleaning, or this, I don't, looking down the road, what do you want to clean that machine?
Exactly. What do you want? Yeah. That's the key. That's what I wanted him to understand. It's and I want you to understand too, which was whatever you're trying to get into, it's going to be specific to you. So you're going to ask a bunch of people, and they're going to give you their take from their perspective and what their goals were, which may not even align with you. If you're going to ask Jeff right now, I said, I don't think that's a good idea, because one, your goals are not going to align.
Yeah.
You're playing on way different levels at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's more experienced.
Not only that, but his attention or his attachment to a certain amount of money is different than yours right now. Yeah. So it's just not the best logical step to go and ask Jeff. The best one is to go, yes, what you're doing right now, exactly, which I love, is you're reading Stocks 101 on your own and going, okay, I don't need $100,000 to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I can play with $100.
Yeah.
And be okay with that, right? And so you're learning on your own and taking it into your own. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want other people to do too. It's what do you want to do? Yeah. Understand that there's all this other shit that's there as a resource. But, do the work too. Don't just be what kind of camera should I get?
Yeah.
How much money should I invest? It's a really broad question, and it will annoy the person who is an expert, because they're saying, do you even know what you want? Yeah. Ask me a more specific question. Respect my time as an expert, because you've done the work on your own. You know what you want. Now come to me. Yeah. That's something I learned from Jeff too, is he would always kind of shut me down if I ask him a broad question.
It's just when we were kids.
Do the work.
Yeah.
You got to do the work. Don't be lazy about what you want to do. Like, take it into your own hands. You know, that way you can't blame anybody too.
And you always say, like, have a goal in mind. Like, what are you going to do with this? Like,
what are you
going to
do?
have it.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Once you have it, what are you going to do with it?
That's a good, we should talk about that. I want to talk about that a little bit more. So I want to ask you, yesterday you told me you're coming out from your workout and you said, you were like irritated and you were like, I want to break free through. I already know what you're talking about, but I asked you.
I said I want to break through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired of being in, like, what Jeff already knows, that we're stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 200,000 is being stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
And we spoke about this before, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, it was just me.
No, I want to dive into it, yeah.
Because we've been in business for 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
That income of 200,000 have been with us for, I would say, 4 years, 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm not seeing any growth. And I know exactly why, right?
Well, how do you define growth?
So growth is, we're making transitions. We have to do marketing differently. Mm-hmm. We have to, be better leaders for our team in order to see this growth. Mm-hmm. Everything that we're doing now is for that big picture.
So how come you say you're not seeing growth?
Well, I'm just telling you that I was impatient. I'm like... You
want to see more growth?
Like anyone does, right?
Well, I want to define it.
Yeah.
I want to help you define it for yourself.
Well, I want to see growth, right?
What does it mean for you? What does it mean for you specifically?
To break through 200,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's that number?
I would say like anywhere 500 or more.
500 or more. 250.
Yeah.
Or more.
No, like probably 500 or more.
Okay, so be clear. See, even you're in your own mind, you're indecisive about what growth means. So I think it could be frustrating and drive you crazy. I don't want you to go crazy.
Yeah.
Like I want you to be encouraged to be content with what you have, to appreciate what you have. Yes, I want you to be ambitious because you're future minded. Yeah. But I also don't want you to get lost in that thing of like you're never satisfied. Mm-hmm. That's a very unfulfilled life. And it's my job to be like, look around you. This is good. Can you appreciate it? Can you be appreciative? Yeah. Not like settle. Of course, not settle. There's a big difference between settling and being appreciative of what you have.
I think I like the challenge. I like the game. That's why I'm never, I don't have a settled mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just as long as you define it for yourself, because you can say these nice things now in the podcast, but I know what you're like outside of it, right?
Yeah.
And like if it's getting to you, then I think it's just a matter of clarifying for yourself. And if I could ask you the right questions, to be like, oh, what is growth? Oh, I actually am not really clear about that. So let me just clarify it for myself. That way I don't drive myself crazy randomly, unconsciously, because it's eating at me because I haven't clarified it for myself, right?
I do also, along with that, I still have to speak to my cousin if he has the ability to make that software. Uh-huh. But I do want to make our lives even easier.
Right.
In the world of photography.
Right.
Yeah.
Just don't put too much on your plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be there to remind you of that.
Yeah.
Because I just seen too many of it happen. So, we can't be dumb. We can't be 50 years old and still making dumb decisions. We have to be self-aware. We can't just say, this is how I am. I mean, you can say that to an extent, but it's like, how many times are you going to say that? You're just making an excuse for yourself to not educate yourself or to not be self-aware. Like, I could keep making dumbass mistakes too. Yeah. But why would I do that?
Yeah, at the same time, I'm thankful for every journey we went through, from commercial photography to 180 to jewelries, right?
Yeah.
But I got to learn about jewelries.
Yeah, no regrets, for sure.
Yeah.
So
but
fun.
At the same time, I do want to learn how to make a freaking software.
Yeah.
Within my lifetime, I'm like that. I always wanted to, build an app of some sort, right?
I'm totally down for it as long as you don't come back and be like, why are we not growing in KLV? It's because you got your mind over there.
Yeah.
Right. So that's when I get frustrated. And the manager in me is like, you know, it's kind of like getting annoyed of the visionary entrepreneur in you.
Yeah.
Because you can't be all out here and expect your home base to grow if you're not, you know, you're not tending to the garden, so to speak. Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm just reminding you.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm trying to like Debbie Downer your shit. I know you want to do all that stuff. Yeah. But I feel like there's a time and place for it. And if you could put the same energy behind getting this shit done first, then it's done. Then it's off your plate. Then you move on to the next thing. Then you can really put 100% over there.
Yeah.
Like, and that'll be waiting for you when we figure this thing out first.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to take another 10 years to be like, oh, we still haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
That's just my concern. And I'm thinking about the future then.
Yeah. But I do like the progression that we're doing, and I'm very happy to see Jenna really being her in photography, and she's really good.
She's very good.
Yeah.
So I like hearing that from you too.
So Jenna, if you can take over KLV, and you can.
No, but it's funny because you're walking through here, and you're like, I want to break through, and I know what you're talking about, but I asked you, and you're like, I want to break through that 200,000. I was like, what are you gonna do after you get the 201,000? And you're like, I don't know, we're gonna travel or move. I was like, okay, how are we gonna do it? Right? I'm just like, playing with you, and you're like, we just need somebody to shoot for us. You walk up the stairs and then into the shower, and I was like, oh, we have someone. But then to see you publicly acknowledge her skill, her growth.
Because I'm confident.
But I was confident too when I saw the collection, and I didn't tell you yet. I didn't tell you anything in person.
Yeah.
I want to see how you really feel. I don't want to impart any like, oh, isn't it good? Look. No, I want to see your true feelings on it. So that's why I post it in the group, because now you're publicly accountable for what you say. Yeah. So it's my test for Jenna. I want to see your approval of Jenna, because if you approve, right, then cool. Then we can go. Because I'm not the master photographer, so I can't say yes or no. Yeah. But I know I see potential, and I've been looking at your work for a long time, and it was pretty similar, pretty damn similar in terms of
I think the collection. It's very similar, but then her, like, she has ability to stay in it longer now. Like, she will surpass. Yeah, she will be even better.
It's that element of her people skill, which that's the thing I saw in the very freaking beginning before we taught her how to shoot. It was like, she's so warm. She definitely brings out, like, even me. I'm cold. I can be cold. I can be mean or whatever. Like, she makes me blossom. And she does that with other people too. She does that with you even. When she comes into the room, like, we brought her out yesterday to the morning lavender, and you know, you and I were shy. We're going to be wallflowers. Yeah. And the moment she gets there, I expand and flow, you expand and flow. And so she adds this really nice element of warmth and friendliness. And
I think a part of that is like not developing the skill at early time. I mean, I just went straight into business, even though you get to speak to clients and all that. Yeah. But just having that 9 to 5 in customer service,
she's been a server for
being a server and
a long time before,
and just learning and developing those social skills. Right. It probably really helped. So,
but her personality's always been that way too. Like you and I, we're very similar in that we're pretty introverted. In a way where, I mean, you can get energy from people. I don't really get energy from people, but how we start out, like, we need to be sparked. We both need to be sparked. Somebody needs to come and spark us, and then we can kind of follow their lead and be outgoing. Like with Jenna, she's that spark. Yeah. And like, she's always been like that. So just super warm and friendly. So like that element into our company, you know, I'm so grateful that she stuck with us. Yeah. Because in the beginning, it was probably rough. She was rough on her. She told me. And then now she's confident. And there's trust now between not only me and her, but also you, which that was a big fear of mine, because it's like, oh man, is anybody going to be good enough for you? Yeah. Right. and finally we have somebody who can who can do it. I think who has the potential to go there.
I guess, yeah, not a lot of people have been listening, like, attuned to, like, what I'm saying during or gets what I'm trying to say.
And she gets you, yeah.
So that's cool.
That's cool.
Not a lot of people
cool.
can really, like, try to finagle my mindset.
Right.
Of, like, oh, how do I execute this certain shot? Or how,
And she's still able to make it her own in the way that she interact with the client. So it's not like she's overstepping you.
Yeah, she's not overstepping. She's taking her own spin.
Right.
But then, yeah, I shot at Scripps College, and she saw a different perspective, and I like her perspective a lot better than mine.
Really?
Well, because I hated...
What do you hate?
Well, it wasn't It wasn't the right...
okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I was like very impressed.
Yeah, if it was the right...
That's true. It's not always you, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm. Then it will bring an artist alive.
And she has a way with talking to women.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I was always more comfortable with the guys, and you actually have a way with talking to women too. Like your voice gets gentler. You're able to speak to them.
Well, it's because of freaking nursing or something. I don't know.
I think you just had 10 years of practice. You know what I mean? Like you're practiced. You're very practiced. But she's very natural with it, and on both sides. With it. She can go both sides.
I can't go both sides.
Right. So it's quite a dynamic skill and something that's really cool. And I'm so grateful that she's with us.
There is a difference though that I'm starting to see, is that there is a male type of business and a female type of business.
Did you feel that yesterday in the morning, Lavender?
Yeah. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I just felt out of place when I first walked in.
I loved it.
I was like, I knew it. It was for, I just knew it, right? It was going to be like that shopping vibe. And I was like, all right, whatever. I'll play along because, our colleagues are still there. So you can always chit chat with them.
Right.
But yeah, I feel wedding photography is definitely, I'm glad that it's universal. It's almost like nursing. Before it was just females, right? And then male starts to step in, right? But then males, like, or certain personality like me and you, right?
Yeah.
But then just to generalize a little bit, like males are less nurturing.
Yeah.
Some like majority of males are less nurturing, right? And they're always like very cutthroat, like just straight to the point. Always about finances, the typical stuff.
Yeah.
Which in business, when it comes to business, there's nothing cool about that, right?
No, that's everything. That's everything about business. I think that's why you're such a good. I know
that's everything about business, but then when it comes to creativity and all that, that's not like a creative art. It's just business.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm learning more is that that's why women can connect with other women.
For sure.
Yeah, because they got the nurturing side.
But I couldn't do it.
Artsy side, right? So, I'm seeing a shift. That these like women are stepping up.
Yeah.
In the business world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been a slow rise. I think for women to feel confident in doing those things, because now you're not only doing your thing as a woman in a woman's industry, I guess. But I mean the bridal industry, right?
I feel all the interesting industry is the women industry other than technology. Yeah. But technology is like, you got to know how to code or you're going to feel left out. Yeah. Like I don't see a lot of female coders or female in the tech world as much.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know any,
Yeah. I don't know. We're not in that industry.
Yeah, but I'm saying like those are where all the guys are in the tech world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, yesterday was pretty legit. I mean, there's still There was a very cool dude in there, one of the owners, him and his wife.
Jason and Kim.
Yeah, Jason and Kim. Yeah, so we talked to him for a little bit, and like us, they were photographers that migrated into, or not really migrated, but shifted into another industry, still tapping into their wedding industry context and the skills that they developed there. And it was like perfect timing to hear what he had to say, because we're often thinking about it, but it's becoming more and more, I think, present in our minds as we get older, as the years go by, and they're going by like rather quickly.
And he called it out as well. He's
he's like, at about 10 years, we were like, dude, we can't. Yeah. They were saying the same shit that we were saying. It was like pretty cool, and they're very successful. So it was like a really cool thing to hear. I think in terms like of, okay, cool. It's like validation that we could sidestep.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been trying sidestep.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah. So. Well, I think, like I was saying, all in good time when things line up. But
we're slowly figuring out. It takes a bunch of fails before you find that thing.
Yeah, and it's okay.
And along with all those fails, we're gaining knowledge and being stronger.
Yeah.
So that thing is coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's good timing too, because we'll be ready. Like, in a lot of ways, the reason why things fail early, or you fail a lot early on in your career, is because you're simply not ready. Like, you haven't learned how to do this, or you haven't learned how to do that. Like, that's just what I believe. Like, when you're ready, it will come, or it will present itself. And you've developed the skills, or you have developed the experience or the mental fortitude and discipline to be like, cool, now I can handle the load. Yeah. Where it's like winning the lottery and you had no idea how to manage money, you'd still blow all your money. Yeah. You know what I mean? You'd still be probably bankrupt within a couple of years because you were a deadbeat in the first place. So what makes you think you're just going to magically handle all your money? Like all of these like superstars, like sports stars that earn a lot of money. And if they don't have anybody to manage their shit and they just go crazy because they don't know anything, and they're bankrupt within a couple of years after their career, like, that sucks. So all in good time for us. Like, we're putting in the work, we're grinding away at our business, we're figuring this first step out first. Like KLV photography, I want it to be incredibly strong, that we know how to handle, I'd say, like 99.9% of the situation.
Yeah. And I thank you again for keeping me grounded, even though I have like spontaneous ideas and
thank you for being patient with my response.
I'm
like, no.
I am a dreamer. Yeah,
no, I get it.
I do go in cloud 9, and I do see like that dream of like living it.
Yeah.
But I understand what we have in front of us, and
we need dreamers.
But then I'm still down to do that.
Yeah, of course. I'm down. But
I was always a daydreamer when I was a kid.
It's just my role.
Yeah, I still have my old report cards.
Yeah.
You go through it. It will say daydreamer.
It's fine. Like, it's fine that you do that.
There's one other thing I want to throw out. Like, I just thought of something cool. Mm-hmm. A retro viewer business, like a 1 hour photo, right? But then people will come in with their photos and turn it into a retro viewer. I was like, that would be so cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'll do that along with your coffee business. I think that'll be a good time.
Yeah, coffee. I'm the type of person who does dream. So don't get me wrong. Like, I'm there with you, but I'm not vocal about it. Yeah. I like to dream kind of quietly. I think maybe because I have a sort of
I never hear. Yeah, you're always quiet. Like, but sometimes I'll hear it. Like, I wish I can be that video game tester, or or make video games and all that.
Yeah.
So, what is a reachable dream for you?
I think the coffee is very reachable. This I'm quietly excited about.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that.
Just be excited. You don't need to be quietly excited.
It's just how I do. Like, I'm very excited about certain things, and like
write it down too.
I don't like to. Yeah, I need to write it down.
You gotta write it down and say like, I'm getting this shit. Like,
I think there's many things that have been taken away.
Yeah. And
I don't have the same dreamer positivity that you do. Mm-hmm. And
what's taken away? You mean
taken away is like the possibility. So when I'm disappointed. I think I've just gone through many disappointments, like early on in my life. Do you feel
you have a short fuse?
Yeah, I have a short fuse.
Can you control that fuse?
I do with you.
I know you can, but then with like Super Jewelry Co., you had a short fuse, and then you were out. Or Co-Verve, you only could take it so much, and then you go. Yeah. Like, I don't want that to happen for you in coffee.
It won't, because it's truly like what I want to do.
Yeah.
The reason why I have a short fuse in those particular situations is because I know better, because we've been through that already.
Well, the owner always knows better, so is this?
And it wasn't my place to be like in Co-Verve. It wasn't my place to be like, dude. I mean, I tried. I did try.
Yeah.
I did try to be like, dude, there's all this stuff that needs to be, this.
So you're saying that it's hard to. You're very individualistic when it comes to business and ideas. Like, you just want to execute it at your own pace.
No, not necessarily. Because in my role as a managerial type, which I feel very strongly, and I want to be able to control that.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were the dreamers, right? And Co-Verve had 2 dreamers.
Yeah.
And 2 technicians. No manager.
And 2 dreamers and Super.
And the 2 dreamers and Super overruled the 2, even though we were equal.
Yeah.
So it didn't, and it's not something I would like to fight over.
So in this coffee, how would you see it being managed?
Well, already I get the green light, like, oh, it's yours.
Yeah.
So I will be the one to spearhead it, to lead it. I still need support.
Yeah,
but
it's very similar to Morning Lavender, right?
I would be the leader, right? Yeah. I would be like, so his wife, he was like, oh yeah, so this is all Kim.
Yeah, this is all Kim's dream, right? Yeah.
Kim knows how to do. I'm like, I'm here, I support, whatever. Yeah. Like, it's kind of the same thing I do with you.
Yeah.
It's like, you're the leader in KLV. You tell me your vision. I say, this is how it can be done.
Yeah.
And I like that. In Co-Verve, it was very not that.
Yeah.
It was very in the cloud. Or let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Same thing with Super.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good pairing in the long term, because you'd have experienced people here, very non-experienced people here, and go, like super risky, super crazy.
Yeah.
Where here we're like, let's systemize. So it potentially could have been a good pairing, but then it didn't work out just because I think it was just on 2 really crazy different levels.
Yeah.
I think Co-Verve had the potential because your levels were here.
Yeah.
You just needed a manager to come in and really like be able to have some say.
Yeah.
Actually have some say. And I think that's why those situations, they didn't work out. And I think I was wise to step away from that, because now I could really put in my say, which mattered here, and got us results.
Yeah.
Which I predicted that would happen in these other companies, right?
Yeah.
So I get to see true results from theory executed in good time here.
Yeah.
And I'm not only doing it with, and I'm doing it with you.
Yeah.
The number 1 team I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Since the very beginning. But my own ego too got in the way, where it's like, I want to, when we were young, it was like, I want to do it my way. I want to put my stamp on things. And you're the same thing. I want to do it my way. Nobody does it like me. Nobody negotiates like me. It's like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
But we both didn't know.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't confident to do it. You didn't trust me to do it. So 10 years passed and we're like, oh, we haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
So that's my short fuse.
So about this coffee, right?
Yeah.
What are you most excited about?
The formation of a bean, of a roast that truly takes you on that journey. So right now I just picked up something from Costa Rica, and it's very blueberry.
Yeah.
Which I only got from Kenya and Ethiopia.
You want to be self-taught, or are you open to doing a workshop?
I'm open to doing all the things. It's just like fly fishing.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like making space in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want this to be like, I'm interested in it, but for somebody to come in and try to steer me.
Yeah.
Or control the way I learn.
Yeah.
Or control the way, the pace that I should take.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm a turn off because you took it away from me.
It's very similar to photography. Yeah. You don't want to go to school for it.
Well, it's like somebody coming in and telling you.
Yeah.
Like, you should, I mean, I do that with a modicum of input.
Yeah.
And I just tell you my opinion, and I already know you're going to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? About like the intimacy and all this shit.
Yeah.
You're still going to do it. And I don't take it personal. I just like, if you're asking me, I tell you my opinion. If you're asking me. But I'm not going to go in and tell you. The only thing I think I really told you was, oh, can you get establishing shots for me? Yeah. So that in the blog, when we transition from one space to the next, it makes sense. And then you agreed with it. So that's the only time that I think I've ever like given you a new idea that you took. But I don't want to take your thing away from you.
Yeah.
And it takes me back to like, I think also why I'm so averse to it is like when I was a kid, they would try to make me go on all these like roller coasters and try to make me have fun and, oh, join this, join that. Like, I hate it because I'm shy. Yeah. I'm so shy before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I remember my mom like, why don't you join the soccer team? And I'm like, like really shy.
Is this a slow progression to getting things started, you feel?
I think so. It's like you with stocks. Maybe you wanna ask all the questions, but then you actually don't do the work. Like you won't go research before. Now you're like actually doing it. But before it'd be like because you're afraid of maybe what the knowledge that you'll learn is. You're afraid of, I have to spend $100,000.
Yeah.
It's that initial fear of like, what is required of me? So you get a little bit pensive.
Yeah.
Of what is going to be, what you're going to give up. It's a sense of scarcity.
Yeah.
So I think in this case, the reason why I'm quietly excited, even though I love coffee, I've always loved coffee, is because there's still a fear that in me that will go, maybe that I won't get to do it. Like this is a dream and maybe it won't happen. And that's depressing. So I go,
why would you say it won't happen though?
No, because it's whatever fear that, like an irrational fear that you may have about stocks.
Oh, I see.
You get it? So if I go like,
oh, you're putting 100% and it didn't work out?
It didn't work. Or not if it didn't even work out, if I didn't even get to that point. Like say you suddenly weren't behind it anymore, then it wouldn't be possible.
Oh, I see.
Financially, it wouldn't be possible. Like if you decided tomorrow to be like, that's okay, let's just do the retro viewer, because you do that a lot.
Yeah.
You switch your mind really quickly, and that's why I don't get attached to many ideas that you bring to me or that I would bring to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're like, oh, never mind, let's just do that. You do that a lot. So I'm like, I'm going to write it out.
That's because, either I didn't believe in it.
Right.
Or I didn't see the potential of it. But was there, I think it was like back in the day and your podcasting world and all that, I didn't see the potential of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you did not believe in it, it irked me.
Yeah.
It's like, and I would ask myself, why should I have you believe in it if it's my thing?
Yeah, if it's your thing.
Right? But I don't know, if with me, I always want to be on your team.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, if I don't I feel like, it's not that I need you to do everything with me. No. It doesn't feel as good.
Mm-hmm. It's like your parents not supporting you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want your parents to support you no matter what, like how stupid it is or whatever. You want them to be like, cool. Or, not to smirk at you, not to snide you.
Yeah.
any little thing, because you know you love them so much, you just want their support. It's the same thing with you. I just want your support.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like that's the way you feel with me with about the stocks. It's like I'm excited about stocks. I'm like, please don't tell me about stocks.
Straight up. So I think I'll just be straight up next time that I'm not feeling it. I'll tell you, like, I'm not digging it.
Yeah.
And you're pretty straight up with me. Like, I don't want to hear about stocks. I'm not interested in it.
But you still tell me anyway. So I don't know what that does.
But I think I just needed to, like, just let it out.
I know. And that's why I told you. I was like, you need some goddamn friends that, like stocks, all right? And you're like, I was like, go find some friends. You're like, oh, but you're my best friend. And I'm like, I know, but damn, I can't do everything.
But I'm not asking you for support. Maybe
no, I support.
Just to listen.
I support
just
you.
Just to listen, maybe.
You know.
But I don't care if you don't even listen. Like.
Well, I know you're not listening sometimes, and I'm just like, he's gone. But I know I'm gonna have to repeat it later, or I'll be like, dude, I told you. As because you're not listening, right? Yeah. I know you already checked out. There's many times you did that. I was like, dude, how many times did I tell you? And you just weren't listening. You're like, you didn't tell me. I was like, no, you weren't listening. I know what I told you.
Yeah.
Stupid. So, I mean.
But cool. We're in this new adventure, and we're going to test it out.
You're still down with the coffee? Still sober at the coffee? I'm
down with the coffee. I love it, but I freaking break out. So that's why I don't drink it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anything that is like caffeinated breaks me out. Cheese breaks me out. Like dairy breaks me out.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And yeah, it's always been that way. I remember drinking just one cup of coffee. I see the reactions within the next week.
Really? Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you can do still sip tasting. So it's just like wine, sip, spit. Because we're gonna have to do cupping at some point.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
I think as long as it's not in, like there's a large amount in my system, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always been like I'm figuring out what are these reactions, right? And
me too.
But it's always been like the trigger was I'm always loving cheese and the thing. Still put cheese in your burger in high school. No, this is like large amounts, like eating pizza, eating
nacho.
Like sandwiches. All the sandwiches, we'll put like 2 slices of cheese, and like every day it just builds up, right? So
maybe you just need a little cheese and dairy detox.
Well, it's been detoxing. I haven't had like crazy cysts or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Okay. Well. That'll do it. I have to go pee so bad, and I have a meeting in about 30 minutes. So thank you for joining us here on Past the Aisle. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when we go live. We usually go live 11 a.m. on Thursdays, but we're a little early because we got to do some stuff today.
And things change all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Check out the blog post today. Another reminder on kevinlevuweddings.com. And you can follow us on Instagram. We're at Kevin Levu. And then our personal page is at the Levus. Alrighty. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.